I don't know. I do sort of like the end of chapter 4, which I think is the Shadow Moses chapter.
What with Fox Diagonally?
Yeah, although that won't be in this version because we're playing in English.
We're playing English.
Is this your mother?
But also because like watching Rex and Ray smash into each other is like just, you know, getting two of your favourite action figures and just sort of like clattering them together and going. What if Godzilla fought Iron Man?
It's from the periodic.
We should watch Godzilla vs Kong. I need to catch up on the new Godzilla and Kong movies.
Thorium, protactinium, uranium, neptunium, plutonium, americium. Curium. That's
Okay.
it. Curium.
This is how you know they're both smart because they've memorized all the periodic table.
Yeah. What's a smart thing? They should just start rattling off digits of pi. That's another smart guy thing, you know. Do a Rubik's Cube as well.
I think these bits are supposed to sort of underscore for us how, you know, Sunny clearly like lacks any like. She lacks a lot of like interaction that sort of meets her where she is as a kid.
Her name was Olga.
And there we go. She's
And also, since Kojima is obsessed with mother figures as well,
yeah,
he's like, Sunny's mother died, so in this scene, Naomi is Sunny's mother.
Yeah.
I see.
This is the mission briefing, by the way.
Yeah.
We're getting briefed on the mission.
You can get one of those, like, duck egg timers. I know because I've seen in one of Owen's videos that he has one.
Right.
Thanks.
I want to watch like the Godzilla versus Kong and stuff.
Great job.
I find it difficult to keep a track of which films are in which different continuity. Like, I swear they've done Godzilla versus Kong like
They've done it twice
2 or
now.
3 times.
And then in the new, like,
There's
viewing of
Godzilla
it, there's
versus
2 of
Kong,
them.
then there was Godzilla versus Kong again, and now there's like Godzilla versus Kong, like Neon Nightmares or something. I don't know. I just,
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
no, you know,
You should get you to write the next one.
I don't know what the subtitle of it is, but it's like it's all flashing lights and.
What for?
There is a lot of. I have seen like
It's the final
from
key
what
he
I've seen of
needs to
footage of
gain
the latest one,
access
like
to SOP.
Kong has like the Infinity Gauntlet. He has like a
keys
like
to the
power
system
fist or
are
something like
system
that.
code
And
and
Godzilla
biometric
like
data.
is kind of like Neon
There's no way
Nightmares,
to
like you
gain
said. He's like
access.
atomic
Yeah.
breath to fuck.
Wait, what's Liquid been doing all this
Oh
time?
look, there's Big Boss.
Oh yeah. Anyway, back in a second.
He's been
How are you
performing
for drinks, by the way?
tests.
I could use another.
2 tests. The first, using the genetic code from Liquid's DNA chip. In his second attempt, he used the DNA code and biometric data extracted from Snake's blood.
What's the need for the original if a substitute works just as well?
Neither your genetic pattern nor Liquid's genetic pattern is a 100% match for big bosses.
Yeah, those movies do look very sort of video gamey.
What do you mean we don't match?
But the thing is about with like video gamey type films is I often just find myself wondering, why am I not just playing a video game right now? The same as the inverted question I find myself asking when I'm watching a quote-unquote cinematic video game is,
Scientifically speaking,
why am I
there's
not
the
just watching a
markers
film right
invented
now?
during the cloning process, the mixing of mitochondrial DNA.
Anyway, unrelated to the game we're playing right now, of course.
Artificially altered Terminator genes, scientifically speaking. Both you and Liquid are as similar to Big Boss as you could possibly be. but you're still different.
Different?
Yes.
I could be driving around in the Mark II whilst all this is going on.
We're not copies of our father, after all.
Which is why they created Solidus.
But Solidus is dead.
Listen carefully, Snake. This is the most important part. The AI that controls the system employs a highly aggressive, advanced IDS. It uses a special code to inspect all data and commands circulating within the network. Any data that fails to conform to that code is treated as a foreign object and expunged, like viruses killed by white blood cells. The authentication program this IDS uses is based on a genetic identification program, one I helped develop for Foxdie. It's set up so that host commands only execute properly if the key matches perfectly.
I think maybe during these
However,
scenes you should be allowed to like visit the gun shop or something
If the IDS
and
suspects
like
someone is
customize
trying
your
to
weapons.
break into
I'd
the
just
system,
given a little,
it
like given
registers
something
that
more,
genetic
a little
code
bit
on
more
the
interactive
blacklist.
to do.
That code is then blocked and can never again be used to access the system. So, if you're going to use a substitute, you need to find a new genetic access code with each new trial.
So when Liquid accessed the system in the Middle East and South America, it was only a test.
I can't believe this. Snake and Big Boss don't have the same genetic code?
Strictly speaking, Snake and Liquid aren't the same either. Which is why Foxdie only affected Liquid at Shadow Moses. And spared you. Let's put it this way. If Liquid uses Big Boss's genetic code, the original,
Zephyria, and
We'll have
obviously
the
there is a
system
perfect piece of
completely
media
under
that hits
his
the
control.
sweet spot between video game and film, Final Fantasy,
Hold on.
The Spirits Within.
I thought having his
I
code
liked that
wasn't
film a
enough.
lot. I have not
You
seen
need his
it
biometric
since
data at
it
the
came
same
out.
time,
I saw
don't
it in
you?
the cinema.
That's right.
I would have been
And Big Boss is already
like
dead.
12, I guess.
no.
Yeah, I must have been about that old.
He's alive.
I liked it a lot, and I remember a lot of people
Boss
hated it.
Alive.
His body is. Or rather,
I think
His
a lot of
sons.
people, when I was a kid,
That's
didn't
impossible.
like that movie because they thought it was supposed to be
survives as a
related to
bioweapon.
any of the games, and it's
brain-dead
not.
shell sustained in the lab.
So for the benefit of Pepsi Dog, we're talking about Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Oh, I've got nothing. Continue.
I like that film a lot. But although I haven't seen it since I was about
Liquid has
12,
already left for
So-
Europe in search of Big
and I'm
Boss's
not
body.
saying that my
Right from the
tastes
start,
have
he knew his
matured at all
experiment in
since
South
then.
America wasn't going to
But
work.
I think they may have changed slightly, so maybe I would like it less now. The cast is Steve Buscemi, really? I cut. Again, 12, so I probably did not know who
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi was.
I mean,
at
I
the
didn't
time.
know that Steve
Obtains the
Buscemi was
body.
in like
He'll be
Monsters Inc.
primed to
until I
make
was like
his final
21.
move.
So
He's in Monsters Inc.
yeah, he's a bad guy.
Allowing him
Oh,
total
shit.
control of the system.
Exactly.
You know, the chameleon looking.
Yeah,
lizard
yeah.
guy,
Unless we can stop him first.
Damn, gets around. It's almost like he's an actor or something.
Yeah. Proud Dad is writing this week now, but we're back.
It's weirdly influential though. A bunch of people have cited it as an influence. Mass Effect's visual design and biotics were inspired by Spirits Within.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Oh my god, he's seeking out of them.
Having flashbacks to Ninja, a character that Raiden is not.
Uncle Hal.
Just
I
because
found it.
let's have some flashbacks to a cyborg ninja, I guess.
Ah. This is it.
Where'd you hack this from?
AT Security. The Patriots.
Can't believe this sort of thing
Where'd you hack this from?
Still
No, I really like that line. This is like future speak for like
Heating up
in the
the
future we'll all be
R&D
saying, "Where'd
ranks.
you download this?"
Yeah.
At one point, each of us clothing.
Where'd you clep this preem
It's not just the
BD
PMCs
from? Tube.
Every corporation tethered to
I
the military-industrial
do
complex
like a
is
lot of
losing
the
its sense of
stupid
morality.
slang
Science,
from
cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. I think a lot of it
Science
is very
hall,
funny.
doing
I
their
like
dirty work
preem.
for them.
I like tune
I like
and tumba.
Yeah. I like clapping as well.
Clapping, yeah.
We make Jack better?
I don't know.
This thing looks so uncomfortable.
Sonny. May I?
That's how you know she's dead smart.
Again,
2
yeah,
keyboards.
She knows the periodic table. Next,
She knows-
like I said, she's gonna do a Rubik's cube next. In
It's
like
like
30 seconds.
multi-track
Snooze.
drifting, you know. It's
Yeah.
like
There's nothing
two
we can do
two
here.
keyboards at the same time,
Yeah,
multiple
yeah.
monitors.
What do you mean?
Look at this.
This is so hackers, 1996. We should watch that again. That's
Yeah,
that's a very funny movie. What are the
This
fucking
artificial blood
some of the
needs
hacker names in that?
dialysis.
Zero
We don't
Cool, I
have
think, is
proper
like the main guy.
Mm.
Dialysis?
What's like Angelina
Getting
Jolie's
his wounds
name in
healed
that?
is important too. But at this rate,
Like I think
It's
Zero
not gonna
Cool
last
is
that
like
long.
his new name. He got like
Dialysis.
he got done
Is
as a
that like
as
what
a previous
kidneys do?
hacker, and
Right.
and no
That's
one
right.
believes it's him.
Raiden's blood is an older type of
Maybe he has, like,
artificial
a dual
blood
zip.
that was used by the military,
Which I've only ever seen on like
called white blood.
more heavy duty
After
raincoats.
it's been in use for a while, the blood
Oh
needs to
yeah,
be
zips from the
dialyzed,
top
They
and
can
the
zip it
bottom.
up from both ends.
filtered.
Yeah, my one of my winter coats does that.
Right now,
the big
he's
like the
slipping into
See, like
suede,
orange one?
toxemia.
no, the suede furry one, fluffy one. I don't think it's real suede.
Yeah.
I'll show you later.
I have wallpaper of like some art of writing.
No, it's Dingo from Zone
Oh
Games 2.
yeah, just for a second, I'm just too riding pills for now.
Dingo Egret,
What
which
do you
is
mean?
a really cool name until you realise that the reason why he's called that is because Anubis and Jehuti are a dog and a bird designs
Where?
specifically.
The
So
same
he's
place
called
Liquid went.
Guy
dog name, bird name.
obsessed with his pals, right?
Yeah.
My pals.
If anything
My
happens
buddies.
to my pals on Callisto.
Yeah.
Yeah, that line really cracked you up when we played Zone of the Enders. Oh, why are we playing this piece of shit? We could be playing Zone of the Enders right now.
Dr. Madnine,
Okay, now,
Piece of shit.
now I'm getting drunk.
World cybernetics expert. Strictly underground, though.
we're in luck then.
Raiden's voice filter is very cool, yeah. I think
It's
that's
so-
how he talks for the rest of the
We
game,
must head for
basically.
Europe.
Hmm.
The sooner we get there, the better.
No More Heroes is another game series I'd
I'll
like
call
to play on
Campbell
stream.
and have him get us landing clearance.
Although, yeah, the No More Heroes like announcer is extremely...
Doctor Peace.
Oh, Snake! Where are you going?
I'm gonna be spewing out poison soon enough anyway. What's one more smoke gonna hurt?
This is a no smoking flight.
How the fuck did I lose so much health?
I mean, you did get beat up by those geckos in the last.
Snake's gonna shoot himself in the head at the end of the game anyway. Might as well, you know. Might as well light up.
Honestly, yeah, everyone is such a narc about his smoking in this one. Like,
I like the comic that Oh That's Raspberry did on Twitter, where it's like old Snake holding like 15 cigarettes and going like, Otacon, I'm dying. I think it's my genes.
EE, remember that?
That.
Tough time explaining this to Naomi. I had this weird, like, semi-romantic thing going on with my stepsister. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It was totally chill. She
Well,
died
his
anyway.
stepsister, who also looks like very similar to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that can happen, right? But they look way more like they have exactly the same parents, not just one parent in common.
Who is this?
Oh, her?
That's
That's my
Dingo.
sister.
He's from Zone of the Enders.
That's Dingo Egret. He's a miner who works on Callisto, but he used to be in Barham. Oh no, that's my
No,
sister.
I-
Don't ask me why I have a picture of my sister open on my desktop.
Emma was a brilliant programmer. She wrote the worm that destroyed the Arsenal Gear AI. Then Vamp killed her.
I'm so sorry.
No, there's nothing for you to be sorry for. Or me. I used to be an anime otaku.
Used to be. Check.
I mean, yeah,
Peep
scope
this
out
guy's
those
fucking
backgrounds.
desktop
I
backgrounds.
was always fascinated by sci-fi anime. That's what got me into this line of work. It's too bad reality wasn't so simple. I never even imagined that science, that my own research,
Yeah, I'm with Zephyrian. How did Otacon and Snake raise such a narc of a daughter? Let the man smoke.
it's not like us science holics or Satanists or anything. But even when we've got the best of intentions, we end up being used by others for evil.
Dr. Emmerich,
You see this? Sonny helped me build it.
really? Sonny helped build this?
Guns on his
We
desk.
built it using top secret docs and patents
got the
dug up
jaggedy
from
guns like
intranets
just
of
like
a
you.
bunch of research labs. To tell you the truth, I think
Unbuilt on
she's
your
better
desk.
Yeah.
than I am.
Still in the box.
A couple of days after I got that
It's just a
Jehuty
child.
model in the post, you were like,
She
I
cracked
cannot
the
believe
protection
your
on your
discipline.
mail."
You've had this in the box for like 2 days and you haven't
Yeah, for
like
me,
tried
if a
to build
gunpla
it.
arrives in the morning, it's built by the end of the
Assumed it was
afternoon.
you.
You know.
Yeah, well, we're now like 2 weeks later and I've still
Sonny
got
was
it
taken by
in a box on my
patriots right
desk.
after she was born.
Some zen it takes.
She never even met her parents.
It's more that I'm cack-handed and I'm sort of worried that I'm
She's
gonna
spent her
break it or
entire
fuck it up or
childhood
lose the
inside the
bits
net.
or like, you know, I like building model kits, but
That's
I
why she has
also
trouble
struggle a little bit with fine motor control.
home
And so
is in the
I'm always
computer.
terrified that I'm gonna break or destroy
She can
something.
only see the outside from the inside. She's
With
always
my
in-
anxiety, I tend to like get
Searching
tremors
for
and shake a little bit.
Saver. Is that Otacon?
searching for her
Like,
family.
Ooh, I don't know actually.
She's trying to find out who she is and where she's going.
The camera's avoiding Mitten this time.
Searching for herself and her family.
She believes she can find the answers inside a machine hooked up to the world. She spends every
Prof.
day inside
Retransil.
the net, exploring. For
That's
Sonny,
a weird software name.
this is home.
No, it shouldn't be like that.
What?
It's time you let her go outside.
What are you talking about?
She hasn't even been born yet. She's still in the womb. She needs to live a real life.
Del Nice Better, do you think Naomi
Sonny's
even
never
knows
shown
what
any
anime
interest
is?
in leaving the Nomad. Frankly, I'm worried about letting her go out there.
Ultimate, it took me like 2 hours last night trying to replace the CPU paste. I spent way too much time trying to unscrew it, only to realise the old paste was keeping it down. As one of the things I admire about you is like, just like take your computer apart and put new bits in it.
Just mess with it.
Yeah, I'm terrified to do that. I'm just like, I'd follow the instructions perfectly and it would just never turn on again.
Go on. Huh? You were about to say something.
It's scary the first time, and then you lose any sort of caution you have for it until eventually you break something by your and then like again it's like the tidal wave curve of like
confidence and competency.
No. Leave them off. It makes you look handsome.
Yeah, but he can't see without them, genius.
You think so?
Dr. Emmerich.
Croker moding.
I find the most erotic part of a woman is the boobies.
I know it's easy.
We haven't been watching much Futurama recently because we've been on the Star Wars. Watched episode 5 tonight. Great film.
Best one.
Sorry.
I mean,
I think episode 5 probably is the best.
No, it's selfish
But
of me,
over the last few years, I've found myself growing fonder and fonder of The Last Jedi.
I understand.
I think it did something that none of the other Star Wars films, very few films have made me do. It made me gasp out loud in the cinema.
I'm sure when I was a kid I gasped when Darth Vader said that he was Luke's father.
I don't know that I did. I think I sort of like let that passively wash over me, and it was only like years later that I sort of like realised what that all means.
Chickens?
Yeah.
Liquid and solid, yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a third one called Solidus as well. Zephyrian, he can't see without his glasses. That's the only explanation for why he almost kissed Naomi. He thought he was leaning in to kiss Snake.
Yeah, very true. At this point, he thinks this is Snake.
If you get uncomfortable or anything, just let me know. I'll be out there working.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yes?
Call me Hal.
Yeah, I wonder if they cleaned up the interior of the helicopter, covered in Raiden's mercury-based blood. Yeah. Also, I can't imagine the inside of the helicopter as a particularly comfortable place to sleep or shag, especially given that Snake and Sunny are like mere meters away just outside the helicopter.
I would fucking hate living on a plane like this.
Shin Bokura no Tayo. Boktai. Now, was Kojima the producer or the director for that game? Because Boktai is another one of those game series which is really great and has just been completely abandoned by Konami. They have no interest in sort of doing anything with it. And for part of the reason why I think is because, like, was it Boktai 1 or maybe Boktai 2 had like a gimmick where the game cartridge had a little solar sensor on it. So you were meant to like be outside to play it in the sunlight. And the game, when you boot it up, tells you like, don't play in the sun too long. It's like, yeah, but I kind of have to because I need solar light to power your weapons in that game. It was a really fun like dungeon crawling like vampire fighting game. I had a lot of fun with it. but I never finished it because like autumn and winter and spring in the UK don't get a lot of sunlight.
Yeah.
So after summer, I got it in summer, played loads of it, and then I was like, well, that's the end of that. I have to wait till next year to continue playing this GBA game.
Right, now we're in Europe.
Yeah, I've got the Boktai theme to play on my iPod.
Third Son. I think this act... There's nothing going on in this act.
This act is one of the weakest in a game of mostly weak acts.
Like, I think people like the gameplay of this one because it's more like sneaking stuff, but like, to me, it's completely sourceless until the very end where Ocelot does that thing where he's pretending to shoot with both hands.
Yeah, this, like many of the other chapters in this game, is a lot of sourceless gameplay to get to a pretty fun cutscene.
Yeah.
The hunt is being carried out by US-based PMC,
but also with a lot of completely dry cutscenes in between.
Outer Heavens control.
Which means that Liquid's lurking somewhere behind the scenes.
Right. And at the top of the target list is the Paradise Lost Army, the resistance group led by Big Mama. Snake, you'll be infiltrating the region where they are believed to house their base of operations. It looks as if the PMC's moved swiftly, cutting off Big Mama and company's escape routes. They should still be hiding somewhere in that area. Big Boss's corpse is bound to be with them.
I just saw that comment by Zavirian. Vamp came by and licked the place clean while no one was looking.
Dirty bastard.
I provided you with a way to evade the check.
Why would Snake choose to disguise himself as like his younger self? Surely any other disguise would have been better.
Well, you know, again, like, diegetically, it kind of makes no sense, but themically, for what the game is perhaps trying to say, makes a lot of sense. Like, why would you want to sort of continually revisit the past?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny that it almost immediately abandons this gimmick. Like, I think this reveal would have been much sort of stronger if, like, you'd played a lot of the game as Snake and then it suddenly turns out that, like, oh no, he's actually, you know.
Next.
It's the same with the reveal of, like, Snake's antiquated body when Naomi's examining him. It's like, yeah, we know he's old. Like,
yeah, we
the
saw
game's been reminding us the whole time, like, with him cracking his
He's
back.
introduced as old Snake.
Yeah.
Next.
Like, oh, it's not just his face that's old, it's his old fucking body. My god.
Next. Said next. You. Get your ass in the machine. Hey, you deaf? Take him away.
This is very bizarre.
I said over here.
That's enough. I'll take him from here.
But
we've been looking for this man.
My guess is, yeah, he does this because he's meant to rendezvous with Meryl because he's got, like, a gun on him or something.
Yeah,
that he
he's meant to actually get... Yeah.
Come with me.
And as Woodward pointed out last stream, or maybe the stream before, I do really like Meryl's design in this game. I think it's really strong. I think she looks great. It's just a shame that, like, she's in a game that mostly is kind of uninterested in really exploring her character that much.
You're looking younger.
What's the only one that's not knocking on Snake as well for smoking?
Face camo. A little present from Tentacles.
Yeah, classic GIF.
PMCs sure seem to know you well enough.
What masks do we have? I think we'll have young Snake and... Oh, I don't know whether you need to defeat the...
You alone?
Maybe you need to beat the Beauty and the Beast core non-lethally to get their face camos? I can't remember.
Hey, Snake!
What is wrong with that guy?
Let's have some dead air. You know, just,
Yeah, it's
just
like-
film anything.
Yeah, it's just like these scenes just sort of go on. Like, there's no sort of energy or pacing to them at all. It's like...
I remember in the MGS3 streams when we were talking about how great the cutscenes are compared to something like Death Stranding, and when we were pointed out that that game had a storyboarder who was not present in the Death Stranding team.
Yeah.
I was checking for this one as well, because it might turn out that all of Kojima's all the business that he has with cutscenes is entirely down to one storyboarder who kicked ass.
Because even the MGS2 cutscenes have like a little bit more sort of dynamism going on.
It's gonna be the Middle East all over again.
MGS1 has some great cutscene direction considering what little they're working with.
They won't be able to fight back. Don't forget, we control.
You only need to non-lethally take them out in their second phase. Oh, okay, because I always do that. Because it's a lot harder to actually just shoot them with guns. It feels sort of a lot more gross as well. So I always like beat them up. Because that's fine.
Risk your life for no reason.
Shooting them, that feels gross to me, but like throwing them onto the floor 15 times, I'm like, that's okay.
It's not a mission.
I know. It's not justice. It's a hired hit.
If you know, then...
Here's another kind of interesting theme of the game, I guess, is that like, why is Snake fighting? What's he fighting for?
Look, our ways of thinking might be different, but to me, you're still a legend, a hero. I know all about the things you did when you were young. It was what kept me going. I can't bear to watch you die over something so pointless.
Don't worry about me. Old soldiers never die.
Your cause is our cause now. You don't
It's
have
not
to
clear
do
how
this.
he's smoking through the mask either.
I'm no hero.
The old Snake theme is very good.
I'm just an old killer.
I mean, yeah, for all of the scenes where there's just no soundtrack and it's like, come on, what do we, you know?
Although I think this is maybe the Middle East theme.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, like Woodhopper pointed out earlier, there's like, yeah, was Harry Gregson Williams like, was he taking a day off or something?
I'm sure it was just direction where Kojima was like, I don't want any music for this scene. And it's like, why? Come on, come on, man.
But now you're just too damn senile to face the truth.
He only looks old. He's not actually old.
Reality. Old Snake.
I think those psych gauge hits should stack. Because I've taken like 4 of them now, and they haven't actually like impacted me in any way. I mean, it could just be like a storytelling
Yeah, I
thing
think
where
it
it's
basically
like
is, because they don't want you to like
they want to make it
take
clear
damage when it's like, well, you didn't do anything.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
they want to make it clear that Snake was upset by that, but there's a poster on the wall that just says chicken.
Yeah, this is an advert for chicken.
Sculptures. I love going to the sculpture shop and buying some sculptures.
Otacon, they've seen this face.
Why does Otacon look like he's just sat down for this
Might
call?
have been added to the PMC's
Like he
blacklist as
just
well.
was doing like a sitting down motion.
Things are going to get hairy once the American suppression troops get here. We'd better get to Big Boss's corpse, and fast. But first, we've got to find Big Mama. Snake, let's go over what we know so far. The streets are under curfew. The only people you'll find out there now are PMC soldiers and members of the Resistance.
Yeah, I thought it looked a little too quiet to be a tourist attraction.
The Resistance members are scheduled to convene at Big Mama's hideout. So our
I
best
think
course
maybe
of action
all
is
of this
to
should have been
follow
covered
their
in the
lead.
mission briefing.
When you find the Resistance,
Where we
tail
just
them. Let them
had
lead you to
Otacon
Big
shagging
Mama.
for
But
some
how
reason.
exactly am I supposed to
Silk, what do you
find
think of
this
the trailer for
resistance?
MGS Delta?
The PMCs have laid a dragnet
What,
for
the,
Resistance members
the-
that covers
The
the
remake,
entire
the one that
remake
was
of
at Summer
3.
Game
They're
Fest,
using
like a-
SOP to
I
notify
think
each
it-
other by
it
radio of any
looks
info collected
very
during
much
their
like
searches.
MGS3 being remade
By
in the Fox
intercepting
engine.
those
I'll
signals,
probably replay
you
it
should
because
be
I'm
able
not
to reach the
as
Resistance members' locations
I'm
in
not as
real
harsh
time.
on remakes
Intercept their
or like
communications.
upscales,
How do I do
like
that?
like
I've provided
modernizing,
you with a new device for
quote
just that
unquote
purpose.
modernizing
To
games as
hijack
I think
PMC
some people are.
communications, open the item window and select
And if
the
that's what it
signal
takes to get
intercept.
some people to play
The
MGS3 who
interceptor
otherwise wouldn't
constantly
because they
monitors
think
PMC
the systems
voice
of
and data
MGS, like the
transmissions.
graphics and
When
whatever
you've got
of
the
the
signal
actual
interceptor
MGS3
equipped
looks
and you
too
hear the
outdated for
PMC's
them,
chatter about the Resistance,
then
check your map.
sure.
It should display the location.
I think it's a shame because I think there's a lot of
Oh,
charm
and
to the
Snake,
graphics
I think
and the
we
look of
found a way to
MGS3.
treat Raiden.
I'm wondering whether it will
Yeah, we
include
got
the
in touch
Fox
with Dr.
engine
Radnar.
sort
Naomi
of
and Sonny are on
quality
their
of
way
life
now.
improvements
They'll be
such
all
as the
right on their
ability
own.
to crouch walk
They're a few
and
clicks
stuff.
north of where you
I
are
don't have
now.
much love for
It's
the
a
look of the
non-combat
Fox
zone, so
engine,
there
but I
won't be
think the
any
gameplay is quite
checkpoints.
nice.
Yeah, I think
There's
they've
even a
messed up
dialysis
some of the
machine.
characters. They don't
It'll take
look
some
like
time.
The
themselves.
boss looks especially.
The boss
think
looks,
you'll be
yeah,
okay.
looks bad, and I'm wondering how
Anyway,
other characters
you need
are
to
gonna look,
hurry
because I've
and
only
make
seen the
contact
boss
with
and
Big
Snake
Mama.
really.
I got it.
If
Haven't seen
Liquid
Volgin
gets
or
his hands on that
Rykov.
corpse, it's all over. Follow the Resistance's lead.
So I was looking up Tomokazu Fukushima is one of the writing team who was on all the MGS games up until MGS4 and
Right.
didn't do Death Stranding either. And I was looking up being like, well, what role did he have in the game? And some people said that his involvement was mainly in writing codec calls. But I don't know. Just from, looking at the finished product, I'm like, here's a game with Fukushima as a writer. Here's a game with him not as a writer, and it's like,
So yeah,
There you go.
what if Snake looked like a hot babe, but also
with like a Ferengi.
yeah, like
neck
weirdly
curtain.
the back of his head was sort of like just sort of blended into a. I don't know why that is the case. Like, why would you ever want to do this other than to sort of like it, I mean,
You
Snake
can't have a young one.
Snake just sort of looks like me now.
Yeah, you're always wearing a trench coat with
Yeah.
a tie.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, it won't let you be in a disguise that's like outwardly weird. Apart from some reason you can be.
I think maybe on New Game Plus you can, but it's funny that like the European something it's like disguise EE.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a funny callback to EE.
And also European Extreme.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I think
you
he
can be.
just likes EE for some reason. He likes them as an acronym. I don't know why.
Yeah. Why can't I equip? So if I go.
Your hair has like jiggle physics. It did for a second.
Oh yeah. It's got some jiggle to it. Now you can put a bandana on.
There we go.
So
again, so tight that it
so tight that it
sculpts your
it's-
brow.
Yeah, it's like he's frowning so hard that he's like pinching the cloth of the bandana. Yeah, look, I look like I could be Snake from a game where he's not old.
Yeah.
So I wonder why they put this in. Like, you can look like young Snake.
Now,
is it just for people who really find this
in my thesis
to be so sort of disgusting?
Yeah, in my
like,
thesis, this is another example of Kojima having his cake and eating it too. Like you said, he's kind of playing on the idea of like, why do we have to keep on returning to the past when it's clearly a fake? It's not relevant anymore. But at the same time, he's like, what if I alienate players by having them be old Snake? I'll just let them be young Snake.
Yeah, I'll just let them look young, and then like now all the age stuff is just sort of like, his cells are old, but look at him, he's still, you know, in the prime of his life.
Like he's lost the edge that he had when he made, you know, he made Raiden the main character in MGS2. Like he knew what he was doing, and he said, "I'm going through it, and I'm not gonna have it so Raiden can have a disguise that makes him look like Solid Snake." Sorry.
Yeah.
Whereas now he's kind of just like, oh, no, well, you know, what if people want to look like young Snake?
I can't remember whether you need to wear the face disguise for this.
Like, hey, we've been told to look out for an old guy with a mustache. It's you.
Yeah, maybe. But I've got the Signal Interceptor, which looks like the SIG Int.
Yeah.
Ah, another
That's good.
Hilarious reference. They use this to like detect the Resistance member we're supposed to be stalking.
Great at a PM series called Raven Sword, and there is just a raven on the lamppost. God, this fucking Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah. I mean, I said it before in previous streams. I don't like lens effects in video games where I don't mind them when they're used to achieve like an effect of, you know, I feel like what annoys me is they're an attempt to make an attempt to make games and movies feel immersive, I think, and I feel like it's not that they break the immersion by being there, it's that they annoy me because they're trying to immerse me in ways that I think like I would already be, you know, I would already be buying into the fiction of a game if it would just sort of let me do that rather than sort of constantly remind me the artifice of like, oh look, there's dirt on the lens that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It just feels like such a sort of like craven attempt to be cinematic or to be quote unquote immersive. Oh, it's just where the guy is. So if you get lost, I think you can look on this map and be like, oh, where is he? He's in that section. But I mean, I'm not going to lose sight of him that much, so. Snake's got his knife out. I haven't got it equipped though. Our neighbour has begun their nightly banging.
Ritual of banging the walls from the sound of them.
It's not even just a nightly ritual, it happens during the day. They like are hammering away at stuff, and I don't know. You think it's a hobby. I think it's that they're doing some kind of renovations, but they've been doing it for months.
My theory is
they sometimes use a power drill downstairs that like vibrates the entire building.
I think it's amateur carpentry, because I think nobody would continue their renovations at 11:45 at night.
Those resistance fighters can't advance because of the PMC troops. Isn't there something you can do to help?
It's got a sort of rhythm to it, so I wondered whether they have like an electric drum kit or something.
Oh, that could be actually, yeah. But I don't know, it doesn't go on long enough for me to think it's drums. Like, it varies. Sometimes they go on for like just 30 seconds and then that's it, and sometimes it's like 10 minutes of non-stop. The same.
This is HQ.
We're being attacked.
Anyway, what's happening here?
I had to move that guy out of the way, so this gorilla guy will move.
Something wrong. Support unit, confirm their status.
Confirm their status.
What?
Who was that?
No one. Continue about your business. Oh shit.
Could be my imagination. Hey. Hey, you!
Moving to intercept. Transmitting relevant positional data over covert channel.
Snake, find some way to free him.
No bother.
He's free. Where's he going?
Are you going to hide?
Lost him.
Don't worry, South Station.
Where'd he go?
This is HQ. All clear. Understood. The state of alert has been lifted. Resume positions.
I can't believe this, but for the first time in a long time, I've actually lost the guy.
This is the one thing we didn't want to happen. South Station, apparently. Just keeps telling you.
Yeah.
Like, this entire area is South Station.
Well, shit.
Can you put on thermals and look at the footprints, or...?
Oh, that's a good shout. Yeah, maybe. Might have long gone. Oh no, there he is again.
There we go.
Guess that's him. If I put the solid eye into normal.
I guess maybe just hold that I can't look at footprints anyway when it's city streets rather than like muddy ground.
I assume that's him.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's how you know it's him. Learn the one thing from Metal Gear, it's some chump is always building the damn thing, even though it's a terrible idea. Silk, this section took me longer than any other on hard. Yeah, I mean this, unless you know exactly like the sequence of like things you're meant to do. You report to intruders. Instead of.
I think this is like the most kind of like interesting in gameplay idea, but
oh, it's that they want me to. He wants me to rescue a resistance member, but honestly, fuck that. Yeah.
But it is kind of slow. If you're following a guy who takes lots of breaks.
Yeah. Like escort missions in video games have a bad rep. But like following an NPC also tend to suck.
The Interceptor has analyzed the PMC data transmission. It's marked the location of a resistance member on your map.
Yeah, good. I don't care.
Oh, you should reset the brightness, that's why.
Could be my imagination.
Yeah, you might as well have it too bright. It's better to be too bright than too dark, I think.
Okay.
What are you coming this way for? You maniac.
Who's there? What's going on?
What's happening? He's just scarpering for some reason. Oh shit! There he is. I'm just having a
weird guy.
Don't mind me. I'm just having a fag.
Is that gonna reset the brightness?
Jesus, you lose a lot of health per tick.
Just in the park, you know?
No respect.
Maybe that's like a Nazi or something.
Maybe. And we are in Europe.
Maybe that's like, you know, the equivalent of like Thatcher. Where we are.
I sworn I saw someone here, but maybe I didn't.
from. Escort missions get better up because they were already perfected in Eco and has been able to recreate that magic.
Yeah, I mean,
generally when games are focused about escorting, they're better. It's just
yeah,
when it's kind of like lazy and
yeah, exactly. That's like it's you know, escort quests get a bad rep, and like so do swimming sections, and it's because it's usually an instance of a game trying to introduce a mode of interaction that it has not been sort of designed around.
Yeah.
Eco is all about escorting Yorda, and so you know, like the game really lives or dies on its like how good it feels to hang out with Yorda and to like escort her around.
And similarly, like in a game like Subnautica, swimming feels great, and it's actually the inverse when the online segments feel clunky in comparison to swimming.
Like, yeah, walking about on land and in like dry environments feels bad in Subnautica, whereas swimming feels natural and great.
Yeah.
And that's hard because you'd think like, well, it's just sort of floating about, but no, like your swimming really does feel like swimming, and but feels sort of natural and fluid. So yeah, like I think it's why escort quests often feel bad, because they attempt to, or like following an NPC, because it's basically like forcing the game to do something that it hasn't necessarily been fully designed around. Did he? Where'd he go? Oh my god. I need to stop taking my eyes off him. Who's that? There was definitely a guy here, right? Everyone else saw that too.
I wasn't looking.
Well, you should stop playing Pokemon Go while we're streaming and pay attention to my stream.
I'm paying attention by
oh, here he is.
Oh.
There's a definitely, I think it might have been Ocelot. Yeah, look, there's a guy there. How do I...
Hey! I bet when you go there now he's gone.
Yeah, I already did that.
Yeah.
How do I... Yeah, there we go. Yeah, who the hell is that? It's no one. Guy in a fedora. I didn't want to mention you could see him because of spoilers. Oh well, tips and Easter eggs are appreciated for sure. That guy follows you. Who is it? Like I couldn't see their face or anything, so I didn't like. You'll see them later.
Yeah, I think I'm remembering this now. Because I just looked up who it is and I remember now. Or just tell you, or... I think in a late cutscene there's an L1 moment where you can look and see who it is.
Right.
And it shows you.
Okay. Well, I don't mind waiting to find out, because I completely have no idea. I've never seen that before. And I've played this game a lot of times, so that perhaps because I've played this so many times, I've tunnel visioned on following the guy, rather than like.
Look out! Searchlight. Find something nearby to hide behind. Stay out of the light.
I mean, I don't see the searchlight. I'm just gonna basically stick to the guy. Okay, you'll see them later, and Silk, I won't spoil it. Huh. Oh shit, got himself arrested. I like that he never questions why everyone who arrests him just miraculously falls unconscious.
Like, move along. Shot again.
Oh. I get the gun. More points for me.
More $11 for my...
Yeah.
For my Fin-Dom relationship with Drebin.
That's an interesting angle to take.
Yeah. You should have explored that more, I think.
He's confused that the guy who just passed out in front of him is still lying there. What? Like when he goes exactly back to where he was. He's like, oh, I need to go back to where I was being arrested, and now I can just proceed along my way. He's not whistling anymore. Yeah, there was a point I wanted to make a little while earlier about how, like, I think in games and films, when things don't make sense diegetically, I like to try and think on the kind of like metatextual level, what does something mean or what's it trying to say? So like, you know, the fact that Snake disguises himself as young Snake, like, why does he do that? Oh, now he starts whistling again. I think he steals a disguise here.
What?
But yeah, the fact that Snake disguises himself as young Snake doesn't make a lot of sense diegetically, but like metatextually, it has like a kind of meaning that does start to make sense. And like, you know, I think another good example of this is
there's something fishy about that PMC trooper.
Fishy about him.
Do you hear whistling?
Another example of this is the film Annihilation, where people were like, what does the end of the film mean? And if you try and like piece it apart diegetically, like, you know, what, like, is Lena still Lena? Is Kane still Kane?
Yeah, have they both been taken over?
Have they both been taken over by the alien?
Are they even themselves anymore? Just the doppelganger aliens, like. And yeah,
yeah,
you and
like,
I are both big.
Diegetically, like, that doesn't make. You know, it's difficult to understand what's. You know, it's a vague, open-ended sort of ending. And the same as the movie Inception. Like, diegetically, like, it's very difficult to work out whether DiCaprio is himself at the end of the film. Cobb, I think.
Cobb, yeah, that's it.
Whether Cobb is awake or is he sleep? Is he still dreaming? Like, you know, is any of it real? It's really hard to kind of like.
The important part of the ending is that the character looks away. The character doesn't.
Yeah, the character. Like... Yeah, exactly. The meaning of the ending is that Cobb like doesn't look at the top to discover whether it topples or falls, because to him it's immaterial as to whether he's dreaming or real. The point is that there's been like a change. He has changed. He was
a guy who was the entire movie obsessed with the top, and then
the guy who was obsessed with like the guy who was obsessed with seeing his kids again, and like, you know, racked with guilt over the death of his wife, is no longer like obsessed with those things. He's achieved absolution for the death of his wife. He's reunited with his children, so his emotional journey is at an end, so it doesn't matter to him whether he's dreaming or not. And that, I think, then sort of like tells you whether it matters, or like what the ending means. But if you try and piece it apart diegetically, like looking at like things like what shoes he's wearing in different scenes. I saw some crazy conspiracy theories on that film.
It's
And yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Just
Same with Annihilation. Diegetically, are they the same? Are they Lena and Kane at the end of the film? It's hard to tell. But as soon as you go like, well, the whole point of the film is like, how do our experiences change us and shape us and turn us into?
Point is that
how does pain and grief and loss change us? Then you suddenly realize like, oh, yeah, they are Lena and Kane, but they're also fundamentally changed people.
By what has happened, they've changed at a basic level and can never go back again. It's what matters.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm a big fan of like when a film or game doesn't make sense sort of in universe, start trying to kind of like question things on the sort of meaning, the meaning of like what those things could symbolize. Also, someone just said I was today years old when I learned what diegetic means. So it means like in universe.
It's happening in the situation.
Yeah, so
like
the typical
non-diegetic sound effects are when you hear a sound effect in a movie that is not seen to be happening in a situation. Like when in Gremlins, one of them falls over and it plays like a Looney Tunes sound effect, or when in Looney Tunes a Looney Tunes sound effect plays.
Like
one can understand that.
For example, like this noise that plays when I cycle through my inventory. Like, presumably that ticking sound isn't something that is happening in the fiction of the game. It's just a audio cue for me to kind of like know that I'm ticking through my inventory. That's not a sound that's being made by Snake rifling through his pockets or anything.
Yeah.
So that's like a sort of like a non-diegetic sound. And the same with like, this music that's playing right now is non-diegetic. This is not happening in the game world. Like there's no one playing this sort of like tense sneaking music as Snake sneaks around. What films often like to do is have some kind of music or sound effect that then is revealed to be diegetic. Like there's some music in a scene and then it like cut to a wide cut and there's like literally like a pianist like playing it in the corner or something.
But I was just going to say I like that in this Act 20 Euros are particularly interested in what's going on in the gameplay. We've now just turned this into like a podcast where we talk about anything.
Yeah. There'll be more opportunities to do this.
Another classic one is the Blade Runner is Deckard a replicant question.
Yeah, is Deckard a replicant?
What matters is the question, not the answer. Is that that it is plausible that throughout the entire movie to question at the end whether Deckard has been born or not. It doesn't matter to say yes he is or no he isn't. It matters that it wouldn't really make a difference,
Yeah, it matters as well that there's any ambiguity. Like, oh shit, did that guy spot me?
But at the same time, I think I prefer the non-diegetic elements of Inception and Annihilation more, because I think the question at the end of Annihilation is like, is Lena the same person as the person that went in to the
Shimmer
and is Cobb in a dream, are more relevant to, and the answer being that it doesn't matter. What matters is the change. Is more relevant to the story than is relevant to the story is Deckard a replicant, which I think is an interesting question. However, it is ultimately not as relevant to the story as the other two are.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, Blade Runner is the story of Roy Batty and how he passes on the message of his life onto someone who can continue living, which is Deckard.
Yeah, and as well, like Socia Sin just said, like the replicants act more like people than Deckard does. Like, there's that point at which like Deckard's job is to like assassinate sentient beings.
Yeah.
And he seems completely indifferent about that, whereas the replicants show a very sort of they show a very human and very sort of like understandable like desperation to live. and to escape their sort
all
of
the
like
human characters are incredibly aloof about their living circumstances, whereas to the replicants it's vital. Like,
yeah, exactly. All the replicants show a desire and passion for life that outshines any of the human characters. And yeah, so like that question of like, is Deckard a replicant? If you try and piece it out diegetically, the film gives you very little to go on actually. But once you start,
it depends on the cut of the film.
Well, yeah. But once you start approaching it as a kind of like a question of like,
I'm right here.
Yeah, once you start approaching it as a sort of question of
Who's there?
Like, what's the film trying to communicate with this question, with its themes? Then it's the answer is kind of obvious, and the answer is
Is
you
the
know,
guy?
again.
What do you think?
I didn't hear him coming at all. He's gotta be the one.
Yeah, but look at him. He's ancient.
You can't tell that. Oh yeah,
you
I'm
can.
apparently
You
out of my
changed out
disguise
your
now.
costume.
For some reason.
I think adding the extra layer of is Deckard a replicant is unnecessary. I think the film would be fine if it just takes Deckard. However, adding the question, I don't think the film is lessened by the question. The film is lessened by the answer. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think to answer, like, either yes or no, yeah, like, is kind of missing the point. The point is about, like, that, what is it to be human? What does it mean to answer the question either way? What makes Deckard human and the replicants inhuman? They, as, like, Sochisin observed, they show far more humanity than he does. Or yeah, again, like depending on the cut of the film, like they display.
But yeah, the answer to like experience is very, very often what literally happened is the most boring question to ask. Like asking Deckard as a replicant, the question is Deckard alive is more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, literally is Deckard a replicant or not, and saying yeah he is a robot is like, oh, who gives a shit? Like,
is Deckard a replicant is less interesting than the question is Deckard human, and it's like. Well, because the immediate prompt,
way more interesting question.
The immediate prompting that is like, can replicants be human? Does being human preclude being a replicant?
Anyway, it's Big Mama.
Yeah, it's Big Mama.
It was you, not I, who was created from the rib of man. But I gave you life.
This is the thing we always get confused about: is Snake's like progeny? Well, not progeny. No, the opposite. His like how. Snake's conception, like, because he's got a Japanese surrogate mother, but the eggs are from Eva. Is that, or Eva's the surrogate mother, but the egg was from a Japanese woman? Because Kojima always has some connection.
Yeah, the blood of the East flows within your veins, is what some character
welcome
says
back quite a bit. For the last hour, we've just been talking about other things because we were kind of bored.
Yeah, so for the last like however long, we've been talking about like when a game or film prompts you to ask a question of like, or like prompts audiences to ask like, what literally happened? Like, you know, is Lena still Lena at the end of Annihilation? Is Deckard a replicant? Why does Snake disguise himself as Old Snake?
As young Snake.
As young Snake. Diegetically, these questions I think are quite like, well, just sort of pointless to answer.
Yeah.
Whereas when you start unpacking the meaning of like what these media are trying to communicate, the answers become clear. Like, yes, Lena is still Lena at the end of.
But at the same time,
but at the same time, she is fundamentally changed by her experiences. Is Deckard a replicant? Doesn't matter as much as the question: is he human? And are replicants human? Can they be human? Is a far more interesting question to ask. Is Cobb still dreaming at the end of Inception? Diegetically, kind of makes no sense, but.
What's more interesting question is, does Cobb care that he is awake?
Cobb has been on an emotional journey that has reached some kind of resolution, and so the fact of whether he's dreaming or not is immaterial to him at that point. He doesn't look at the top at the end of the film. So yeah, that's what we've been talking about. This has basically just been like a sort of podcast for us.
Anyway, here's let's talk about the continuation of MGS3's story.
Yeah, so.
I'm a paramedic. She's horrible.
Yeah, paramedic is turned into like one of history's greatest monsters.
I was one of
Deckard, yes.
It
It
depends on the cut. On the original cut, it doesn't, but the original cut also has a lot of narration that people don't recognize as you know. It depends on the cut of the movie you go for. In the final, I believe the final cut is the one that heavily suggests that Deckard is a replicant.
Yes.
Because it leaves in Deckard has a dream about a
unicorn.
And then
Gaff
leaves an origami of a unicorn at his apartment, which suggests that not only has Gaff been to look for Rachel and also let them go, but the Gaff is also suggesting, I know your memories.
Yeah, Gaff leaves a thing at Deckard's apartment, which suggests, I know what you dream about, and also that because he is a Blade Runner, why would a Blade Runner have visited Deckard if he weren't a replicant? There's no reason for Gaff to have visited him.
In the original cut, the suggestion is that he's looking for Rachel and has let her go.
Well, yeah.
But in the final cut, the suggestion is he might have been looking for both.
And the question, it's too bad she won't live, but then again, who does? It's sort of like prompting you to, it's like, who among us does have any, like, and also, I guess questioning the, who does live.
I've read the Phil Dick book, but I think the Phil Dick book is good for Do Android's Dream of Electric Sheep is good for different reasons, but I like Blade Runner more than Do Android's Dream of Electric Sheep. Sorry for all DDAES fans.
So this is so fascinating that we have barely even acknowledged that they're talking about my favourite game right now. MGS3.
Remember him, Morgan.
Yeah, remember when cutscenes used to be good? So yeah,
they got the fake.
It feels like the whole Eva, Snake, Apple, Adam thing is being stretched a little bit.
It was already. I was already getting kind of tired of it in MGS3 when she brought it up, and now it's like, oh come on.
It's like a slightly funny thing when she's like, at the end of the game, she's like, it turns out that I tempted the snake instead of the other way around. Haha, isn't that funny? And it's like, oh yeah, it's quite clever.
And their commander, Zero. Oh, and there was one more who we mustn't forget. He stayed behind in the Soviet Union to support the group as an informant. Ocelot.
There's our guy.
Who is now Liquid. After your father rescued me in Hanoi, I went to America and joined their organization. Zero's goal was to achieve.
So yeah, apparently,
he believed that
Big Boss went to go and rescue Eva in Hanoi. I don't think that's covered in any of the games. I don't think that's Portable Ops or.
I don't know. Portable Ops covers more.
Portable Ops.
It has Ocelot stuff in it, so I think it covers like how Ocelot and Snake and Zero like.
Well, we have a Portable Ops player in the chat.
Dipped out again when the story got bad. Who knows?
Oh.
What drove us to create this organization, to be closer to that spirit.
I should play Portable Ops at some point. Just having.
It's mostly a bit of a grind from what I remember.
So we turned to Big Boss.
It does have some fun characters.
Of the boss. He shared more of her life than anyone else. It was Big Boss, the true heir to her legacy, who was best suited to play this role.
The Peace Walker was the limit of my interest in this idea of like what was the boss's message to the world. I don't care beyond that. Like this sort of obsession that 4 and 5 Ground Zeroes and 5 Phantom Pain has with like the interpretation of the boss's ideas.
Yeah,
I don't really care. Like,
so yeah, I think in another answer to the question we asked earlier, that Big Mama carried the pregnancy to term. But that the eggs came from some random Japanese woman.
Yeah. Describing Dick as seminal, very good. I've not read that much like classic sci-fi in terms of novels. I've read a few like short stories, but the only real like classic sci-fi full. Even then, Do Android's Dream of Electric Sheep is pretty short. It's like a novella more than a novel, but
something that would perpetuate the existence of Big Boss Their organization
This goes on a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. I want to read more Asimov as well. I've heard Foundation is very good, but I've never really gotten into it.
Its goal was to create a clone of Big Boss, the ultimate soldier. The project was led by Dr. Clark, known at the time as Paramedic.
Tried Foundation, couldn't. No.
After dozens of failures, they finally, miraculously, succeeded in producing a fertilized egg.
I think we're going to get to see a picture of Snake's mom.
That's not what I mean from reading Neuromancer as well.
Blood from the east flows within your...
There you go.
Although,
that's Snake's mom on screen.
Oh shit, there she is.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
I know, yeah, I know. I'm saying, I'm agreeing with you.
I was more than happy to carry you in my womb. That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
I gave birth to 2 big bosses, you and Liquid. It didn't matter that you were clones or that they had manipulated your DNA. You were born the same way as any other normal child, from your mother's womb.
But speaking of like diegetic questions, all this stuff about the details of Snake's birth, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, what matters is Snake is a clone. End of. You know.
It feels like Kojima's trying to say something. You know, that sentence, like, what matters is that you were born from your mother's womb. And it's like,
I'm sorry. Your father never
screaming kitten raid from Stroganov.
I knew that, but
disappointed Snake's egg mom doesn't also have a skin-tight headband that shows her forehead wrinkles. Yeah. Where do you inherit that from?
I do want to read more Le Guin. I've only read Wisdom of Earthsea. I've not read beyond that. I would like to read more Earthsea and more just the other Le Guin.
His words influenced decision-making all the way up to the Oval Office. As the world saw the rise of digital technology, IT, the internet, and genetics, the Patriots...
Yeah, it feels like Kojima's trying to sort of, you know, there's something of a thesis statement buried in all of this, but it's also just sort of so much dry musing on like the state of the world and the development of technology, and it's like, what are we saying with all this? Like, what?
The most I've been into the idea of like Zero as Cypher, this sort of like, you know, world controlling power, is in the lead up to Phantom Pain's release, when Phantom Pain was being promoted as like, it's going to be a revenge game. It's all going to be about like the idea of like just a statement with rubbing our noses in bloody battlefield all for revenge. That was like, oh holy shit, that goes hard. Like the idea of like we're gonna become evil to just fight back against this guy, I was into. And then when the game came out and it was not about that at all, I was kind of like, well shit.
Yeah.
It's all about Skullface. And Skullface's story I like in isolation, but it you know, it was not what the game was sold as.
And their absolute reverence for her.
I've not really cared about like this idea of like Zero as like the head of the Patriots, like or the maker of the Patriots, like.
Yeah, it just sort of like the last time we met Zero was in MGS3, and he was like, you know, he's a military guy, but he's not
like he's obsessed with Tsuchinoko and
he's obsessed
Bond.
with James Bond.
Yeah.
He's like seems a genuinely sort of like affable guy, and then by this game we're supposed to believe that like no, actually he's terrible, and he became like an intelligence community tyrant who has been manipulating the world through. Yeah, it's like
Toby's portrait she keeps in this church.
Who painted that?
It's just like a movie poster for a real life event.
Yeah. Capture card crapping out on us.
More
and
context.
as Dennis Bloodknot said, like, does it matter? I've known my mother for 48 years, and if I found out tomorrow I didn't literally emerge from her, so what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know,
In outer heaven,
if I found out, like, tomorrow that my sisters actually aren't related to me, it's like, yeah, well, you know,
Like-
we grew up since we were like, you know, we grew up together, so they matter to me.
I'm not a clone, so I don't know how interesting this would be if one was a clone, but
Yeah.
personally, I'm just like, if it were me, I would not care. Like,
Yeah.
Was reconstructed through surgery, and he was reborn as the cyborg ninja.
Like, I don't want to, like, you know, people who find out they're adopted and want to meet their biological parents. I don't, you know, mean to undermine that in any way, but I think I'm at an age now where it just sort of would be like, eh.
I think, yeah.
But I mean, I
with
also
your experience,
think
you've lived a life where you've not been like estranged from your parents, but you've all, you know.
Yeah, I've sort of voluntarily sequestered myself from my family.
Yeah.
You know, I've been through periods of my life where I've like not communicated with my family at all for like years. So like, yeah, finding out I wasn't related to them, I wouldn't necessarily want to find out, oh, who am I related to then? Because, I mean, I think a lot of queer people value the families we find in other people more than, oh, look at this nice diagram.
AIs. Why is this relevant? So
Who
no.
cares?
Like, who gives a shit? Like, oh, there's also Thomas Jefferson and for the other fucking two.
Yeah.
So what? Like, GW was enough.
JD and the other 3 AIs have control.
JD is John Doe, the like fifth AI or whatever.
AL.
Politics, law, morals,
TR. Aren't they the faces on Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Thomas Jefferson, and the other one.
The other
Lincoln.
one.
Lincoln's the other one, right? It's
Yeah.
Lincoln, Washington,
Oh yeah,
Roosevelt, and
AL.
Jefferson.
Abraham
Yeah.
Lincoln.
to bind himself to his friend, to ensure.
God, it's crapping out like crazy during this cutscene. Doesn't like it.
Yeah,
You were resting your foot near it. Maybe
on the cable, maybe.
that cable is the one that's crapping out, or the USB one that's connecting it.
I don't know if I like.
Yeah, Alan LaPartridge.
I really want to. I really wish I had some kind of thing I could do where I'm like comment of the stream, 'cause, like it would just be the Winnebago show, I think. But like, yeah, Alan LaPartridge.
But we too paid a price. I lost Ocelot.
So what's happening now? What's this sort of Vitruvian man thing going
Oh,
on?
who knows?
That's Big Boss in the middle, right?
He was fighting for Big
Maybe,
Boss.
yeah, because he's lost his eye.
He idolized him.
Speaking of Alan's and Alan Wake, and through that Remedy and through that Control, I started replaying Control yesterday.
Yeah, back to podcast mode. We're bored of this.
Back to podcaster mode. Yeah, I really like Control. I think it's good.
I was the last one. And then someone appeared to help me.
Whatever, I haven't been posting much, but I feel like it's hard to say anything other than this is fucking rubbish. Yeah, honestly.
It was when I met him.
Yeah, Control is good. I really like it. I think it's, you know, it's kind of like cheesy and weird in the way that Remedy do quite well.
I really like having FMV be a feature in a modern game. I love that shit.
Yeah, I think they pull it off very well.
Yeah. Dr. Darling.
Dr. Darling is
Dr.
great.
Darling fan
Dr.
club.
Darling is
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters in games. He's great. I love when he gets shirtless, like halfway through the game, and you start finding tapes of him like on the lash. He's like drunk.
Yeah.
Liquid is after Big Boss's body.
I mean, that is the summary of this cutscene. Liquid is after Big Boss's body.
Thank you.
Because he wants it for some reason.
Let's have another on rails section. Are you excited?
I'm raring to go. I'm not. I'm drunk enough and not ashamed enough to admit that after playing this game, I started wearing a black choker like that. I had like a black hairband, which was I used to use for like pushing my hair back to do makeup, but I started just wearing it as like.
Before Big Mama had the drip.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool look, so I just started wearing like a black hairband that fit around my neck. And I also thought it very flatteringly hid my Adam's apple. That's Big Boss's body.
His body is alive, but his consciousness is locked away by nanomachines.
It's Big Boss's body.
Oh, there's so many times it's just like it's blank by nanomachines. Like,
yeah, he's technically brain dead.
We can't allow Liquid to inherit the same sins that corrupted Zero. Manipulating people's minds for the sake of his own ego.
Is it for the sake of his own ego? Like, did you not play MGS2, Big Mama? There was a whole thing about creating context that was, like, you know, interesting. Rather than there's a big evil man who's just doing this because he's evil.
Otacon. Snake, it's Naomi. What happened? She's gone. She's not in the Nomad anymore. When? Less than an hour ago. She disappeared right after she and Sonny got back from Dr. Madnar's place.
Who?
Why weren't you watching her?
Yeah, who's Dr. Madnar?
I've not been paying attention. Didn't have my glasses on. If you've been shagging again, Otacon. Shagging on the clock.
You think she went back to Liquid? What about Raiden? Good news on that front. We managed to get our hands on a dialysis machine and set up an ICU.
Naomi's left the Nomad, and that makes me yes mad.
That's good.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Don't gas up my bad jokes.
It's probably gonna take 48 hours. Until then, Raiden can't move.
Oh shit.
Hey, you. Come here.
Oh yeah.
I guess you just never saw him in the gameplay.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him in the game before.
Still got the red line. She does the same horizontal line. Remember that? Let's have some cake while we eat it.
Oh, flashbacks. Remember when
Han Solo's iconic pistol that he gets in the movie Solo, A Star Wars Story.
Yeah.
They found us.
I do sort of love how Han Solo, Solo, A Star Wars Story, absolutely spits, pisses, shits on pages and pages of lore, like where Solo got his name from, in going like, an Imperial recruiter gave it to him on the spot because he was alone.
Wikipedia page for the Corellian House of Solo.
Yeah, the Corellian House of Solo. Control A, delete.
They said they give away FPS games for free. Well, true. In this day and age, you give away third-person shooter games for free. Fortnite.
All of these children are orphans. They work in arms factories, and when they grow up, they want to join a PMC.
Okay.
They seek revenge on other companies, PMCs that killed their parents, and use their earnings to support their younger siblings. There are countless child soldiers like these in the PMCs.
It's very weird to report these people as like to call these people child soldiers.
The FPS
like
games
a guy that looks like fucking Northern Lion and being like, this is a child soldier.
We're having flashbacks of what looks like Call of Duty there.
It's so easy for them to get absorbed by these war games. And before they know it,
The only canon Star Wars is 3 films, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, the rest of them. I like the prequels.
Force
I like
Unleashed is canon because Darth Icky has to be real.
Darth Icky, Darth Insanius. I like the prequels. I like the sequels. I actually quite like Rogue One and Solo. I enjoyed Solo more the first time than I did the second
Solo,
rewatch.
like last week. It was the first time I ever watched it, and after all the people were saying how shit it was, I thought it was okay.
Yeah. It's not as bad as I remember. I in my brain had sort of like mushed a lot of things together and imagined that it was worse than it was. Both on a kind of like textual level and a sort of like just in terms of the storytelling. I actually liked Rogue One a lot more than I thought I was going to when we rewatched it.
Random, like, glory shot, the bike. Triumph.
Yeah, look, it's a Triumph motorcycle.
With so many wars being waged, oil and biofuel have become as precious as diamonds.
Who gives a shit?
It's been a while since I've been out for a ride.
Are you sure about this?
I only get off my bike when I fall
So
in
she's
love.
he's trying to get on your nerves here by talking shit about...
Rogue One is the best Star Wars Disney made. Wrong. The Last Jedi is fucking goated.
Call me Eva.
Remember that bit where they drive a ship through a Star Destroyer? Yeah, I
sucks. I do like the movie, but that part sucks.
I also like the bit where they kill Snoke. Like, that shocked me.
Two thumbs up to that part. I like that.
It's so brutal as well. Yeah, just cut him in half.
Force pull a lightsaber across him. More people should do it.
Here we go.
Great.
I love the bit where a soldier tastes the ground and says it's salt.
I do love that. I like to imagine that guy tastes the ground on every planet they go to.
Yeah, that guy. Whenever he goes to a new planet, he licks the ground and goes, "It's dirt. It's snow."
Most of the time, it's dirt.
Yeah.
But then it's like,
it's salt. He's like, oh, this one's actually quite pleasant compared to normal. Yeah. Like when he's on like a sulfurous planet, he's like, oh, no, I don't like that.
Anyway, so like, if I was the editor for this game, the last 20 minutes, snip.
Yeah, honestly, the next 20 minutes too.
Do I know the drink, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Why can't I use my... Oh, I can't use it because it needs 2 hands still. You can just turn auto aim on for this bit. Weird to say FPS games bring on kids combat and then follow it with this. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, this game is just fully like wanting to make a interesting point and then completely undermine itself by going, and we're doing it too. Like, oh, games are like brainwashing into like people loving guns and military stuff. Anyway, now we're going to drive through the streets and slaughter like hundreds of guys. Yeah, it almost feels like I'm supposed to play this section with auto aim on. Of how like quote unquote cinematic it is to do that.
Attack the enemy from behind. Open up that checkpoint.
Like if you actually try and do this like an actual on-rail shooter, this is incredibly hard. Also, genuine question. Can you guys hear my neighbour sneezing? Because I can hear it, so he's like, It's so loud. Shotgun. I'm just like genuinely interested whether the microphone picks that up or not. Go again. Can't hear it. Lucky you, honestly. At this point, I'm like, I think it's a charming part of the game. Now approaching the worst boss fight in this game. Saying something, but one of the worst boss fights in any game. Raging Raven sucks so bad. I think you can somewhat ameliorate how bad Raging Raven is by using the auto aim function, like I'm doing for this on rails shooting section.
How did I miss it?
Most of it.
Okay.
Or at least at least half of it. I can't remember if there's any more.
I've got bad news. The decoy
Oh
vans
yeah, we
have
have
all
to do
been
a
in
little
the
bit
dust,
more.
which means the enemy will be focusing on you now. I just need you to hold them off a little longer.
Shut up.
Enemy dead ahead.
Right, hang on. Can I buy like a better gun? Buy the P90. I think I would like to do that. Holds 50 rounds. Yeah, let's buy it. Ooh, actually, what's the time? Oh, I'm not waiting half an hour to buy this. Can I buy any cool upgrades for it? No.
Excellent, Snake. Need help on the left.
That's my boy. Like, if you don't play this section with auto aim, you miss all of this sort of like cutscene direction, which not a lot else in this game worth commenting on. If you try and play this as an actual on-rail shooter section, you miss all of it. Yeah, we need to hold L1 and R1 is there, and then... Yeah. During this very cool slow Yes!
You okay?
I'm fine. They're here.
Imagine how completely sourceless this scene would be if he was trying to do it non-lethally.
Help behind.
I mean, it's all good.
I think we lost them.
Woo! Silk, the Eva as Snake's mother stuff feels so flat to me. Yeah, it honestly does. Like, considering the last time we met Eva in MGS3, where we're supposed to sort of like, you know, not think of her as like a motherly figure, and now the game series wants us to kind of like adopt like a, she's so mommy. It just feels like a little bit strange, a little bit of a gear shift. And yeah, like, Snake has never met her, so like, why would he or we have any sort of like, you know, like, motherly affection for her?
Unless he played a VR mission of MGS3, like why would he?
And even then, like,
stay with me.
You know, him and Naked Snake and her, you know, have a far more romantic relationship.
Is that you?
No, I've got the eye patch on the other side.
Mother's work is never done.
Oh look, she got impaled again, just like in MGS3.
Big Mama.
Right through the same spot, just like how Vamp got shot in the same spot as well.
Yeah. Really does feel like this game has like an almost like fetishistic like obsession with just repeating the beats of the past. Which
there's something kind of poetic about old wounds being reopened, but at the same time, it's just like, but also I'm gonna have that cake.
Yeah, it's once again like it's got the seeds of a good idea with like, you know, retreading the past and how rote and sort of boring it is on the second playthrough, but on the second revisiting of these memories, and how routine it all feels. But at the same time, the game is also just doing that, and it is sort of boring and rote and routine. And I don't think I'm not someone who necessarily kind of like is willing to give games the charity of like, oh, it's bad on purpose. Well, yeah, that may or may not be true, but it also is just bad if you do that.
This is as well. I think
there's something to be said for games that make you sort of like, you know, I don't like the game personally and would never play it, but I know a lot of people like Pathologic and the way it makes you sort of like suffer through extremely dreary, bleak, pointless and hopeless feeling gameplay in order to instill those feelings in you. But at the same time, like, the game makes you feel those kind of ways, and I think it's a perfectly valid thing to say, I don't want to feel that way, and that I am not necessarily playing a game to be made to feel that way.
I will say, another thing that's making this game worse in my eyes than it might have been back in the day. Like, back in the day, most of the criticism for this game was just like the amount of the cutscenes are so long. But now there's an extra element of like all these sort of like just parroting things that have already happened in previous entries. I feel like everyone has kind of grown up a bit with their media consumption now that we've lived through a generation of movies that are just doing that.
Yeah.
Like Ghostbusters remakes that are just like parroting moments of the past, and, you know, this MCU and Star Wars, or just kind of like doing the same but again. And now it leaves an especially bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah.
Especially in the conditions that we're currently playing it, where it's like, we literally played the previous game a week ago.
Yeah.
And now, 2 weeks ago. And now we're just watching the moments happen again from the same camera angles, and it's still just like fucking.
Yeah,
dick,
I mean,
you know?
I will confess to being far more astonished by this game when I first played it, when it first came out, because I was sort of like, oh my god, it's got all these callbacks to these great moments from these games I love. But like on repeat playthroughs, I have found myself like losing a lot of that sort of astonishment, and I use the phrase astonishment because I think it's something that Woodward's used several times on Twitter to like discuss the way I think some people are just sometimes like just kind of swept up in enthusiasm for something without thinking like critically about like, hang on, why is this good? Is this good even?
I do. I don't want to like meme, but like when it comes to a lot of things, like when in the MCU, like, oh my god, Wolverine's gonna be in the next Deadpool or whatever, and it's just like all I can think about is like remembering when I was 12 and how the idea of like a guy from one thing like crossing over into another thing like would have been like the best thing in the fucking world. But now that I'm not 12,
yeah,
I'm like, it's one of the worst things.
Yeah.
And I do think a lot of people are still in that headspace that I wasn't when I was 12. Not to be insulting.
Yeah. Although there's no way to
not be insulting when like, saying that. But
yeah, I think I am sort of like Silk. It feels like a Ready Player One for MGS. That is a fantastic way of putting it. Yeah. Now, one of the worst boss fights in all of gaming. I think I need to go upstairs. So you can't even see her from down here. I'm probably gonna have to buy more ammunition and everything. Is that her? As well. This is another thing, like, having a boss fight where there's a bunch of identical looking, unmanned gear. Is that her? For real? How absolutely saucy this is. I think if you don't shoot her enough, she fires a grenade launcher at you.
I am so thankful that we're playing on PC and Half-Life is going down way faster than last time I watched you play.
Yeah, I think last time we played, I played on normal, and like...
Good god, this took like half an hour.
Shit her health down so slowly. She flies really far away. This is going very quickly and very well.
Maybe you like memory leak this into ending early. Oh fuck!
Fucking hope so. Is that like a smoke grenade?
Oh yes, it's
Holy
over.
Shit. Yes! Well, that was absolutely nothing of a boss fight. There you go, Raging Raven.
Kind of cool design.
Yeah, like, I think the Beauty and the Beast core look really cool, but then, you bastards.
I'm raging.
I can feel the anger building up inside. Eating away at me.
It's great when you have a character just say, I'm feeling a feeling. I'm feeling an emotion right now. That's always a sign of extremely strong storytelling.
I'll never forgive myself. I don't want to be angry. I don't need anger. I'm not angry.
I'm not angry. I'm not owned.
Slowly transforming into a beautiful woman.
Shit. You're the fear? You can't have a character just say how they feel. That makes me angry.
Help me! The birds are pecking at my flesh! And my soul! Please!
The birds are pecking at my flesh and my soul.
I can't wait for Drebin to tell me about this.
Rather than covered in like weird amniotic fluid, she looks like she's on fire.
Yeah. Let's get
Let me out of this cage. I don't need these wings.
Some nice undercarriage shots here at Kojima.
Yeah. Her eyes are up here, Snake. Seriously. You mean to tell me she's actually a hot babe?
Holy.
Snake! She's come out of her suit! Watch out! She's gonna try to grab you!
That's fine.
That Snake is a woman.
Oh, this does actually help.
Oh.
Kiss me. Get off me! You didn't ask for consent! She's all switey.
Ah, switey. Relax, chicks. Come on, nice picking. Still nice picking.
We're nice picking.
Sustain it for you, man. Sustain it for me.
Yeah, like if the Cobras lacked emotional impact because they were only sort of like introduced moments before they died, the Beauty and the Beast Corps are even worse because they get their explanation after you've just beaten them.
That bird down, Snake. Drebin. And you got yourself a souvenir too. A grenade launcher.
What time are we at?
That's a real user-friendly weapon.
Not much use to me without an ID, though.
Yeah, you know what? This might be a good place to break the stream.
What's the catch?
Only that you give it to me.
We are at the end of the act.
Yeah, I know, but it's quite a long
many decades of rage stored
There's a whole bit with the Patriots thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's get to the end of the act and then break it there.
We'll do the briefing on the next one next time.
Yeah.
Soldiers.
God, this game takes so long compared to the previous. We did MGS3 in 3 streams.
Yeah, this is our this is
technically our third.
Well, we did MGS3 in 3.5 streams. This is our like
2.5 with this one.
2.5. But we're only about halfway through the game.
It's unknown whether the soldiers were with the government or the rebels. They got their kicks by abusing these
I promise.
kids day.
And this is a Merle T fanboy promise. After MGS4.
That battlefield rage slowly built up
yeah,
inside their bodies.
Zone Re-Enders, or maybe we'll take a break from Konami products. We could go and play Eco and Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, that'd be good. I'd like to play either of those.
Surviving on scraps of food.
I think they're plenty good.
Soldiers didn't stop. They called the kids parasites and shit.
I've not been paying attention to this because something horrible happened to this one.
I think Silk just put it perfectly. I accidentally skipped this conversation. I meant to look it up later and then never bothered because it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't at all.
One by one, their bodies were picked apart by Raven's beaks, until finally the flock came for her. But by some miracle, their beaks cut her bonds instead.
This and Ground Zero is all about how Kojima's like, what if a woman was tortured?
Yeah, what if a woman was really sexy, but you felt really bad about it? When you find out the reason for Quiet's nudity...
Oh yeah, sorry, into Phantom Pain as well, yeah, what if a woman was tortured?
You will regret your words and deeds.
They say that when a raven cries, a man
to be honest, Death Stranding has a bit of what if a woman was tortured with Fragile.
Yeah.
Screeching and cawing, she killed
yeah,
every last
Fragile looks really hot, but she's actually a tortured soul, and also her body's old, so how does that make you feel, hey?
The cruelty her friends had suffered, the pain and humiliation she
I was hoping that if they were going to make another game in the Death Stranding universe, it'd be more about Fragile, because she's a way more interesting character than Sam Porter Bridges. Well, she's in the next one, but you don't play as her. It's not like about her.
Yeah, the trailer of Death Stranding 2 was more centered around Fragile, and it only showed Sam at the end, so it gave the impression that you might be playing as Fragile, but you're not.
Yeah.
In fact,
and also,
I'd say you might
Higgs
even
is
be
back.
war itself.
I didn't particularly care about Higgs in the first one.
Again, I quite like Higgs because he's the
guitar.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think Higgs in the Death Stranding 2 trailer looked fantastic.
Yeah.
He's the best
and he's
part
become
of it.
the Joker. Like,
yeah.
This is the greatest development that the game
has
had.
But he's also one of the best parts of Death Stranding 1 because he's the only person who seems to give a shit about what's happening.
I do think he's the only. Kojima loves hiring real actors, and he has one actual game actor in Troy Baker, and I'm not the biggest Troy Baker fan.
Yeah.
But he does give maybe the best performance in the game, like, because he knows how to act for games. I like Mads does a pretty good performance, but I don't.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen is great as well.
But I still think he's underused. Like,
yeah. There we go. We've got the face camo of Raging Beauty. We've got Laughing Beauty, and we've got Raging Beauty. So Woodaber asked earlier if there was any other good cutscenes in my estimation. I do think this cutscene is good because it has, not this one, but maybe the next one. It's good because it has Ocelot in it.
When the SOP activates. Yeah, whenever Ocelot's just having a great time. It's like when Palpatine's on screen in episode 9, I assume.
Exactly, yeah. So going back to the Star Wars conversation, I love the sequels. I hate episode 9, but I still kind of enjoy it because every moment Ian McDiarmid is on the screen, you're just like, this is great, this is the best. Even though his character being like in the film makes no fucking sense at all.
Yeah.
I also think Rise of Skywalker has one of the coolest Force moments in the entire series.
You've told me about it many times, so I'm looking forward to it. But
yeah.
Good thinking.
I mean, it'll be less surprising now that you know it's going to happen.
Well, I fully know it's happening, so I'm not going to gasp like you did.
But I think it's great. Because I like Kylo Ren a lot. I think he's really cool.
Oh yeah, I love Kylo Ren, but I'm kind of disappointed that his character, like his character in 7, I thought was like he was the best character in 7, and I thought it was amazing the idea for his character. And then it just continues into 8 and into 9 as I've heard.
I have the Anakin Skywalker skin on Fortnite. There is a Kylo Ren skin as well, isn't there?
Yeah,
I don't know whether I have that or not.
There's no need to keep.
But yeah, I was disappointed that Kylo Ren's character I thought was really cool in 7, but it doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
I fall in love.
It's like, imagine if like Darth Vader didn't go anywhere. You just kind of thought he was cool in 4, and then there was no development of his character. But what makes Darth Vader cool is that there is development of his character.
Yeah. Silk, like Silk said, I like Higgs because he's the only fun character in Death Stranding. I think I said when we met up, my problem with Death Stranding was its characters telling Sam their backstory while he's just looking at them blankly. I mean, the characters talking to Sam in general, and him just sort of like staring at them blankly.
There's a bit towards the end where Die Hardman like breaks down in front of Sam and tells them like about his backstory and how sorry he is about things that have happened. And you were there when I was playing it, and I was just like, I was like Sam. I was staring blankly at the screen, like, should I care? Like,
yeah, why do I give a shit about any of this?
Like, no disrespect to Die Hardman, but I didn't really care how he felt about the whole situation, you know?
Yeah.
Neither did I blame. Like, he's like, I'm so sorry for the things that happened, and he's like, you know, you shouldn't blame, you know, if you want to blame me for this, that's okay, but I feel so sorry about it. But it's like, was I meant to blame you? You seemed like a jobber in this whole situation. You were just like...
Look who it isn't.
Let's go. Look at me, Snake. No one knocks on me for smoking.
That cigar smoke seemed like it was coming out of his chin.
Not bad.
Not bad. I can get into this.
Where's the pics?
That no longer matters.
Where is it?
I mean, yeah, that's another thing. Die Hardman's whole breakdown comes after the emotional climax, so it's like, why care? Like, you should be entirely going down right now, but you're trying to bring me back up again.
Yeah. Don't try to turn around as though, like, no, it's not me, actually.
The shame of it.
The shame of it.
I finally have it. The thing I've sought for so long. Big Boss.
Liquid's left arm.
Done, Snake. It's already too late. You almost did it. But it looks like I win after all.
I'll knife you with this knife.
Cigars. Father's favorite. What do you say? Care for one last smoke?
Huh. You think you're a big boss now?
Guilty as charged.
Every moment that Liquid's not on screen, the audience should be asking, "Where's Liquid?"
I do like again. It's just like Ian McDermott as Palpatine. He's just yucking it up. He's like, "You think you're the bad guy?" And he's like, "I sure do."
Yeah. The controller vibrated off my lap and onto the floor.
Like, this is like Ocelot's holiday, you know. This is what he lives for.
do get a hold of the system, you'll only have one part of the Patriots AI. The military part.
I mean, not to shatter the mirror here, Snake, but we mostly concern ourselves with military stuff in this series.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time before I have everything.
So,
a bit of Heinleinian philosophy there.
Yeah.
Balance is the ultimate power.
Remember GW?
Also, it turns out that human beings' internal electrical resistance is a lot lower than your external. If you stab a knife into someone and then pass an electric current through them, they die.
Yeah, straight to the heart.
Yeah. Yeah, you can have electric shocks on your skin that burn you, and yeah, and a current being passed across you of high enough voltage is very lethal. But inside you, it has to be. It doesn't have to be nearly as bad.
High voltage.
Yeah,
Just a little bit will do, yeah.
After all.
I think like the I might be wrong on this, but I think the current and voltage in like a common AA battery is enough to kill you if it's like internal.
Stuck it in,
yeah.
Destroy JD with a nuclear strike. The Patriots network.
Anyway, another one of these.
And then I'll build my haven.
Every time it cuts to this sort of
I do like the way like Shinkawa's like art of Ocelot is like all bleeding out into this like sci-fi.
I think the art of these scenes is great, but it's just like all the narration is like, I don't care. Like
yeah, it is telling that like it is relying on the sort of like aesthetics and visuals to sort of like keep you occupied.
We were created by the Patriots. We're not men.
Human skin equals Faraday cage confirmed. Not quite, but you have a much higher external. Like your skin has a much higher electrical resistance than your internals. I know that much.
We're freaks who never should have existed.
Yeah, I'm a freak.
Slave. That's a good line.
Yeah, we're freaks who should never have existed.
Insurance that future generations never prosper.
This is what it means to be gay, Snake.
Yeah, Pride Month. This is the LGBT motto, you know?
Patriots saw fit to create us, and in doing so became our only raison d'etre.
A message of pride from Liquid Ocelot.
I won't fight
I
my
never
fate.
actually said that.
I'll kill Zero and Big Boss and become a patriot myself.
Yeah, get behind him.
And Big Boss.
And this scene establishes who is the Senate
and who is the Uday.
Return to Zero. The world can be reborn.
Yeah, a bit of
Cute
drama
them both.
there.
Yeah. Shock play in my MTS.
You know what? This cutscene is better than I remember. Oh, don't fucking pull out the apple. We've had enough of that metaphor.
Yeah, fuck off with this apple shite.
Nope. Captain God doesn't like it either. Oh, fucking hell. How did you do that?
How fucking hard do you have to be to crush an
So long
apple?
as we both live, the world will not know an age of light. If we're to pass the baton to the next generation, the only choice left to us is death.
Based?
Yeah.
Boss.
Good. The players have all assembled, Snake. The time has come for you to witness.
This is for the play.
Witness our moment of triumph.
The min-maxes. Yeah, Bob.
Go!
still rocking that ID tag.
This stance, the Ocelot in this world. This whole cutscene is just, I love it for Ocelot. You'd love to see a girl boss winning.
Exactly. We'd love to see a mustachioed girl boss winning. Beto, are all fights in MGS just metaphors for sex? Yes, but the longer answer is yes.
Hold it right there, Liquid!
Now again, it doesn't like certain cutscenes. Maybe that's when I don't know.
Drop your weapons and stand down!
Yeah, it tends not to have done it in gameplay.
I did it once during that boss fight where you backed away for a second, but it was when it was the end stage of the boss fight when trying to grab. See a girl boss winning, they're like, no, shut it down.
Good night, Ellie.
Also, what is this moon phase going on? Like, the moon is like a half moon, but like horizontally instead of usual.
The Earth has been knocked off its orbit or something. Fucking get to the point.
I get it. They all have guns and they're all aiming at Ocelot.
And now there's like 6 different boats in the bay. Like, I get it.
When it's indulgent and the camera is on something who's not Ocelot, I sleep, whatever, or jerk off motion.
Me when it's watching
and it's Ocelot. Yes.
Me watching Ocelot absolutely chewing the scenery. I'm all for it. Me watching a bunch of military guys brandish their weapons and like make little gun clicky sounds. Like fucking
rubbish. God, yeah, we get it.
Yeah, they're all like clicking their gun. Like, do guns really make that much noise?
No, they don't. It's like a movie and accurate.
Like, guns that always sound like they're being clicked.
Like whenever you raise a gun, it clicks.
And it like rattles.
Obviously it doesn't, like...
All of you, drop your weapons and put your hands up!
Hates the lights and the vampire.
Are vampires affected by moonlight?
One would assume, right? Because it's reflected sunlight.
It's reflected sunlight. But maybe the lunar powers of the moon turn it into...
refracts it into positive vampire energy.
Is it, Woodaba, as a blade aficionado, would be able to confirm this for us, but does UV light affect vampires? I feel like it does in the Blade movies.
Yeah. Having a good time with the movie. Just recently we are, because
Ocelot's on screen, so we're having a great time. Skeleton of fun, but
whenever he's not on screen, we've been sleeping. We've been just doing a podcast about other stuff.
Throughout most of this level, we were talking about like
Ocelot's gonna fucking go crazy with this one.
This is a great scene. I love this one.
Liquid, stop! Fire!
activated his stand.
Yeah.
What would Ocelot's stand be called? Liquid Ocelot.
Cat dolls.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Watching Pussycat, that'd be good. Like
the system is mine. Your guns and your weapons are no longer your own. Behold, guns of the Patriots.
You gonna take that knife out, Snake?
I mean, bad medical advice before a knife, I think it's stand up.
Yeah.
Shit!
Yeah, like, in my mind it's more Ocelot going bang, bang, and gun hands, and less of just focusing on what happens.
That guy crashing his helicopter.
No, this is the stuff.
As Silk said, hashtag Team Ocelot.
Yeah. There goes my man. You're so crazy for this. What's going on?
He just makes them all have a brain hemorrhage or something.
Jonathan! Ed! Commander! Commander!
Akiba, you're okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
But why?
Why indeed? Why is liquid poop unaffected? It's having a great time. God, somewhere.
Yeah, now he's like, oh my god, I want to kill it. Like, the results of my actions.
Oh no, the consequences of my actions.
Do you see this, Cyril? We are victorious. Behold, guns of the Patriots.
Two is Sons of Liberty. One's Guns of the Patriots. But it's not clear, like, this is the Guns of the Patriots where we turn off some of the guns. And
like Sochisin says, the scene is, I'm loving it for Ocelot, but it would be amplified by an order of magnitude if it was Cam Clark.
Oh my god, yeah. Anyone who hasn't seen it should go and look up Cam Clark doing the Liquid voice. A drive-through, yeah. A Taco Bell. Is that a taco? Yeah, very well. Very jaunty indeed.
You can heat stuff.
I do have something for you, though. It's a slice of humble pie. You can stick it in the microwave.
Goodbye.
There's also Liquid Snake reading out the crimes of Florida Man, which is mostly kind of boring, but like the first part of it is great. Good, yeah, the first one is great. She got some here, and she got some here. I don't want to spoil that one because that was very funny.
Yep.
Just toss that on the fire.
This is like especially meaningless.
Who knows why she just suddenly catches fire like that as well.
But like I was gonna say, it's especially meaningless when you find out at the end that this is the big boss's body. Like,
yeah. And you'd think she'd know that this isn't Big Boss's body because, like, it clearly has its right eye, as we just saw. Yeah. She must have seen that. She knows. And she had a flashback earlier to what Big Boss looks like. He does not have a right eye. Yeah. It's like, how could she have thought at any moment like this was Big Boss's body?
She dedicated her life to this guy, and she forgot which eye he lost.
Yeah.
Supposed to be in on the whole thing. I mean, again, it's just they add this extra layer of like they sort of like again with Ocelot. Ocelot is also in on the whole thing in that he knows that he's not Liquid. He's hypnotized himself to think that he's like Kojima adds in this level to protect himself from any sort of like ridiculousness of like, well, why would characters do this stuff when they should know? By going, oh well, they knew that they didn't know, and it's like this meaningless layer of like obfuscation, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't feel too bad about spoiling where this game goes, but it later becomes clear that Liquid Ocelot is not actually Ocelot under the control of Liquid. It's just Ocelot, but he hypnotized himself to think that he's being controlled by Liquid's
by the arm of Ocelot, yeah.
For reasons that are unclear. Why did he ever need to carry out that deception?
Great friends. I mean, it's like, you know, I like the fan read of like Ocelot just loves secrets so much that he'll even manufacture secrets for no reason.
Yeah.
Meryl.
Oh look.
Oh no, he's hot.
Liquid poop is actually really hot.
This guy is actually competent now, because he's fucking sexy.
Yeah. Also, he shows proper CPR technique. Pinch the nose.
I mean, you don't do the mouth-to-mouth anymore, though.
Oh, is that not a...
No. Mouth-to-mouth is not recommended, because it's never, like, properly done. So they recommend just chest compressions now.
Right.
In fact, I'm not sure it can even. I think it's even under revision whether there's a proper way to do it. So just chest compressions, because I think it's a it's meant to replicate like intubating someone, but I think it's just really not effective and does more. Like more often than not, it just does more harm than good. It like inflates people's like diaphragm when.
I mean, I can imagine you could end up blowing too much air into someone because they're not exhaling any, especially if you don't do the chest compressions correctly.
Yeah, it is covered in Breaking Bad. Bryan Cranston's character's like, no, they don't do mouth to mouth anymore.
Skeleton of Fun. I don't know what the general consensus is, but I do not like Akiba.
Sucks.
Yeah, I don't mind him as a character in this, but the fact that he's also meant to be Johnny Sasaki, who's appeared in MGS 1 and 2 up to now, and also the descendant of the guy who was in the prison in MGS 3. It's just like, it makes the universe feel very small. That like we focus, this small set of characters have basically had their dynastic like destinies intertwined.
Similar misstep to Star Wars, where they decided to all tie it into like this 2 dynasties essentially.
Yeah.
And it's like it makes the universe feel less important than it is.
Yeah, that the entire fate of the galaxy revolves around like 2 families essentially.
If it's all right, call me Johnny.
Silk, he's a terrible character, but he's hot and he sounds like Gene Godhand, so I stan him. I didn't know about him being in 2, and I didn't realise he's related to the guy in 3.
Like great grandson or grandson.
Yeah, he's exactly. The prison guard who guards the jail cell in 3 reveals that every member of his family is called Johnny, and he has the same voice actor as the guy in 2 and 1.
So I was saying to the chest compression ring, I've always heard you do it to Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Like Staying Alive is close enough to the tempo that you're meant to do chest compressions in.
There is shadow.
Staying Alive. That's a funny thing too.
Yeah. They did that advert with Vinnie Jones.
Oh yeah.
And when that happens,
it's weird that only Snake is burned, despite the fact that Big Mama caught fire first, so that she can have this touching death scene.
Snake's face being burned. I always forget it even happens.
Yeah.
Like
in the next scene on the Nomad, he's wearing like a cold, like a some kind of like compress on his face. But yeah, no, Johnny Sasaki is in 2. If you use the directional microphone during the scene you're listening in on, Ocelot and Solidus. Yeah, just after you find aims. If you move to the left, I think I did it in my MGS2 streams, you can hear Johnny shitting himself and musing on the fact that, like, oh, this is worse than that time I had diarrhea in Alaska.
Yeah.
And that's his allusion to him being in 1.
Like I said,
like, you know, when it was just a side character thing, like an Easter egg, it was whatever. But now that he's a main character, it's like, I really wish.
Yeah.
Drevin's here. Anyway.
Thank God.
Big Mama's dead. I'm crying. I'm all torn up about it.
Yeah.
Now, if you hadn't
Big
had
Mama,
enough
I barely knew her.
Now, if you've had enough of all the callbacks, we're about to have a whole chapter of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I hope that it's going to offer me the chance to save. Yes. So I think we'll call the stream here before we begin with the next South American Mountain Trail. Overwrite that save? Yes, please.
Searching this chapter's worth damn for it. I mean, the thing is, my love for Shadow Moses is so great that I'm kind of like, I allow it, you know? Like,
Yeah, but I think that's what it's like trading off of anyway.
Basically, is that everyone?
So I think it's gonna automatically go into the next scene.
I think we've just quit here, and then when we load the game next time, it'll put us in.
Yeah, but
just go to the PlayStation menu. We can stop the stream here. There we go.
Oh yeah, that pauses it. But yeah, I think I had more fun this stream. Starting drinking a little bit before the stream definitely helped me keep my energy levels up, because as we covered earlier in the stream, the cutscenes in this game have so little energy, and honestly the gameplay is no great shakes either. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of third-person shooters, or like shooting games in general, although I was earlier praising Control, which I'm enjoying a lot in that.
And you have enjoyed like Helldivers as well.
Yeah, I've enjoyed Helldivers. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the action in this game is just so sort of dry.
Yeah, it's just so many on-rail segments, and
yeah,
the stealth segments when they happen, and a lot of it is just like walking slowly.
Yeah. Silk, this chapter has the most nostalgia but the least PowerPoint cutscenes.
I don't remember any of the cutscenes in the next chapter, really. I remember the gameplay more than anything.
Yeah.
I remember
Zephyrian, thanks for sharing MGS4. Yeah, I think it's the least played of the MGS series, partially because it's just locked to the PlayStation 3. Like, this is the only system you can play this on.
Well, until the HD Collection Part 2 comes out, which one would assume would have MGS4.
Which, as we covered before, I assume it will have MGS4. I assume it will have Peace Walker, because that's just already done.
And then that's already got an HD. Put in 5 and Phantom and Ground Zeroes.
Yeah, they might just put in like Ground Zeroes, MGS5, because that doesn't exist on the PS. Yeah, and it doesn't exist on the PS5 and like Xbox Series S architecture just yet. I suppose they could also put in Metal Gear Rising. I don't know whether Platinum still hold the rights to that.
Yeah.
But yeah. What else to say about MGS4? I was looking forward to replaying this, but we'll be back next week. Well, I was looking forward to replaying this, but on replaying it now, I am sort of enjoying it a lot less than I have done in the past, and I've already not enjoyed it that as much as like 3 and 2.
I watched you play this maybe like 2.5-3 years ago now.
Yeah.
I remember at the time being like, "This game's not so bad. I'm quite enjoying it." Like, but this time around, there's something about it. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. For the future of these streams, I think I might have a break from Metal Gear after we finish 4. I want to play Metal Gear Rising because I think it is fun.
Yeah.
But I think I'll take a break. We'll maybe play Eco or Zone of the Enders or something.
I think Eco or Shadow of the Colossus I would enjoy, and then maybe after that Zone of the Enders.
Yeah.
Because Zone of the Enders is a different series, but it is the same sort of like Konami art style of the time, so it might feel a bit stale. When it is a good game, and I want it to have more impact when we stream it,
Skeleton of Fun. I thought the gameplay is good. I do think it was modernized more than it needed to be, but I guess that makes it easier for the new player. Yeah, I think it also sort of makes it a little bit. It makes it a little bit generic, which again, like, can be viewed through the lens of like, oh, it's a satire / commentary on where the games industry was at the time, that it's so sort of generic and, it looks like and plays like all the other sort of military mush that was out at the same time. But at the same time, it ends up being just sort of military mush, which isn't very fun to play. So it's not like a defense; it's an explanation, but it's not a defense of why of the game being the way it is. I'm going to try to play Peace Walker before 5. Do you think the PSP version is worth emulating?
From my point of view, I think it's worth playing.
It's worth playing. I think it's good.
Especially it's worth playing up until the untrue ending, and then you should look up the true ending on YouTube.
Yeah, the true ending does take a bit of grinding to obtain. If you're enjoying the boss fights,
if you really love the gameplay, then yeah, sure.
Yeah, then go for it. And it's, if you look up online how to get the true ending, it is not that hard to do. If you don't know what you're doing, it's a hell of a lot of grinding. if you know what you're doing, it's quite a lot of grinding.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peace Walker is fun. Either emulate it or play it in the HD collection.
Yeah. It may
although,
well be out in the HD
just to cover my
year,
ass,
so.
only emulate it if you own the original copy on. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Try and go for it. Stuff like that is kind of important to me. The true ending is definitely worth seeing. I think it is cool. Extremely bizarre.
It's weird, but it's cool. Like,
yeah, it's cool. And I do like the missions that lead up to it. Is quite fun. So it's definitely worth experiencing. And if you're happy to play a few boss fights,
a lot of times,
4 or 5, maybe 6 times, then go for it. I was happy to do it, so I'm not exactly going to tell other people they shouldn't, because I went through it. But don't be afraid to look up a guide on how to get it, because it is sort of very obtuse.
I think the main story of Peace Walker is very good. I like it as a standalone sort of Metal Gear Solid
it's great, and
story.
it's told the cutscenes are great in that game because they are told
really cool,
in a
like
very, very comic book style. The scene where Snake recruits Chico is great.
I think that's one of the all-time Metal Gear Solid cutscenes, and a lot of people haven't seen it just because it's in Peace Walker.
And Peace Walker is again one of those, like, for a long time it was locked to the PSP, which not very many people had.
I had a PSP, but I never played Peace Walker on it. I played it on 360 when the HD collection came out.
I had a PSP. I played Metal Gear Acid on it a lot, and I liked that. That was fun. Non-canon though. I love the cassette tape in Peace Walker more than in 5. But again, like, it also feels like Peace Walker was a game that sometimes, I mean, I know that I listened to some of the cassette tapes in Peace Walker whilst I was, like, on the bus going to uni, and would, like, listen to these, like, little podcast episodes. When I played MGS5, I was just sat, in my room playing MGS5, and listening to cassette tapes is a far less endearing experience when you're just sat in your room sort of thinking, I wish I was playing a game right now.
In my memory, at least, it was more in Phantom Pain that I remember it, is that when you finished the game for the first time, you were given all these cassette tapes with story critical information on them.
Yeah.
To understand the ending of the story. But you couldn't listen to them while doing missions. You had to just sit in your helicopter and listen to them. And when you're playing on the big screen on your console, it's like, okay.
Like, extremely dull experience.
Like listening to a radio play, you know?
Yeah. But,
I might be wrong about that. Maybe you could play missions while listening, but
I would also be up for playing Mega Man Legends on stream.
Game.
That was a fun game. I think
you have.
I think I might have put them in my PS2 folder. Yes, I have Eco and Shadow of the Colossus that we could play. Those might be Okami as well.
Goes on a bit, maybe quite long stream.
Quite long. I do want to play that eventually on stream, but maybe for the more distant
Could just
future.
do like a taster stream where we play like a bit of it, but don't go, we're going to finish this game on stream.
Yeah,
but you're kind of against that.
I like Okami a lot.
Tokyo
Jungle is
I
definitely
would
like
do a taster stream of. I love Tokyo Jungle.
Yeah.
To me, Tokyo Jungle is the best game on PS3.
Yeah, I remember the was it like the first time you came to visit me, like when we like had not long been dating, and I was like, oh, you should check out this fun little game on PS3, because we were playing through all the MGS games as well.
And also,
you were like, this is great.
You were expecting us to play it for like half an hour and be like, oh, that's fun, now let's play something else.
But you were like
jonesing for it. The entire weekend playing it, and then like the next time we visited, the next entire weekend playing it.
Yeah,
like
you're like, this is great. This is like it was like a hidden gem for you.
Yeah.
I think
I'd heard it's like a funny little game in the past, and I was like, oh, I want to try it as a funny little game. But to me, this is a system seller.
Yeah. Well, also, I think we dedicated ourselves to like completing it and getting the platinum trophy for it, because you were like, I want to see the end of the story.
Yeah.
I want to like unlock all the animals. I want to.
We didn't unlock all the animals, and we ought to. We ought to go back and
We've unlocked all but like the ones that you can get in the base game anyway without buying them as DLC. We've unlocked all but one.
The herbivores. Just because herbivore gameplay is quite hard.
I think
we'll have to go back.
We've unlocked. I know that we've unlocked like one of the 2 final animals. Anyway, we'll play this in the future because it's a very fun game.
I thought we'd unlocked that side of them, but not the herbivore side of the final animal.
Oh, possibly.
Anyway.
Mostly just wanted to make sure the PSP version was worth playing. I've recommended the PS3 version, but I don't have easy access to that version. Yeah, honestly, the PSP or PS3 versions, I can't recall much difference between them. But if you have access to emulate the PSP version, I assume you can probably emulate the PS3 version as well. The totally legit way to legally access MGS Peace Walker has been taken down.
Oh, is there like a PC version or something? No.
Well, maybe you can't. You can no longer download. Maybe you can no longer.
Find a PS3 version.
Yeah, maybe you can no longer download this.
That's strange.
Because
I assume you can still get the HD collection on disc, maybe.
Can you not get the HD collection, the MGS HD collection on PS3 and Xbox anymore?
Taking off films. Oh. Yeah, right. They're totally legal.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I see.
I understand. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't recall that there's. I think the only difference between the PSP and the PS3 versions of this is that the textures are slightly quote unquote nicer.
Yeah.
But I think playing. I
wouldn't worry about it.
I think playing it on its PSP version is very charming.
On the HD version, they don't blow you away, so the PSP version is fine.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, thanks for dropping by, everyone.
See you next week for more of this.
More of this mush. Night.
Bye.